Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om. Om Samast Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, Namo Namaha. A warm welcome to Pujya Swamiji and all you dear sadhaks on the 25th day of the Krishna Paksha Ekadashi of the Adhik Shravan Maas. Today is the last day of our session on Bhagavat talks by Pujya Swamiji. We thank you, Swamiji, for taking time out for us in our zone in this busy schedule of yours. Our next session is going to be on the 15th of August, our Bharatiya Swatantrata Divas, where we shall be having japa on the Mrityunjay mantra on the same email ID at 7 p.m. sharp. We also would like to inform you that all of us who would like to donate something as Guru Dakshina to Pujya Swamiji can do so on the link provided in the Satsangs at Mahima Zone chat. And we shall be also adding the same link on this chat box of the Zoom link today. And thank you so much. Over to you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Nehaji. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. Salutations to all. So today is the auspicious day of Ekadashi, and we are also doing the satsang on Srimad Bhagavatam and Adhik Maas. So very many auspicious factors have come together. So today we will see the story that many of us know, but we will reflect on the deeper aspects of it. And that is in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We find this story, which is Dhruva Pakhyan, which comes. The story of Dhruva. So Uttanapaada and Priyavrata, they are the sons of Swayambhu Manu. Akuti, Prasuti, Devahuti, they are the daughters. Now Uttanapaada's story comes here in this Bhagavatam, 4th canto. So Uttanapaada had 2 wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Now who is this Uttanapaada? Suruchi's son is Uttam and Suniti's son is Dhruva. Now, very interesting are these words. See, Uttanapaada, we may think, oh, he is some king. But you know, each of us is Uttanapaada. How? Ut means up, Pada means feet. One whose feet are up. Swamiji, our feet are down. Only if we do Shirshasana, our feet is up. No. Every single jiva, at least a human being, we are Uttanapaada. Our feet are up. When? When we are in the womb of the mother. Everyone is hanging upside down. Feet up. In delivery, the head comes out first. That is a normal delivery. So, we are all the jivas, Uttanapaada. And this Uttanapaada has 2 wives. Who are these 2 wives? His two wives are Suruchi and Suniti. So who is Suruchi? Suruchi is the is the mind which loves sense enjoyments, sense objects, is craving for things outside. And it is our indulgent mind. And that son of that indulgent mind is uttam. Uttam means what? We may think uttam means best, which is one meaning is best. But ut means Paramatma, Ishvara. And tama means ignorance. Uttama means one who is ignorant of the Supreme Self, pure consciousness, Bhagwan. So the mind which is indulgent, extroverted, will have a child who is like that. Meaning the mind is turned away from the divine, gone out. And this Uttanapaada loved this Suruchi more than Suniti. That is what the Jiva does. Suniti is one who is good niti, who has good samskar, who has satsang, who has sadhana, and who lives with great values, follows dharma. The son of that Suniti is Dhruva. Dhruva means eternal, permanent. So in the very beginning itself, it becomes very clear. If the Jiva wants eternal happiness, the Jiva the Jiva must pay attention to Suniti. If the Jiva wants to just indulge, enjoy and live this life in this temporary way, then the Jiva will be partial to Suruchi. So here we find Uttanapaada is like that. Uttanapaada is very clear in his thinking that I love Suruchi more. He'd ignore Suniti. This is what the Jiva does. Most of the time we ignore good values or dharma or sadhana. And the mind pays excessive attention towards sense enjoyments. And so we find that this is the situation now. Now what happens? This Suruchi is one day sitting with this Uttanapaada, and the son Uttam is playing in his lap. At that time, what happens? This Dhruva comes there. Small boy, 5 years old hardly. He comes and he sees that, in the father's lap, Uttama is playing. So he says, I also want to be in your lap. And so he, shows his hands that father will take him in the lap, make him sit and he will play. It's a simple, innocent desire that he had. But immediately this Suruchi stops him and says, you don't deserve to be sitting on his lap. So Dhruva says, but I am Suniti, the queen, her son. So Suruchi says, you are not the queen's son. You are the son of a dasi. She is a dasi. She is not even a queen. I am the queen. The king loves me in the maximum. And this Suruchi even goes ahead to the extent of saying that if you want to sit on the lap of the king, you have to be born through my womb. Meaning, this Dhruva should die, then should be reborn in through her womb, then he will be able to sit on the lap of the father. What a terrible thing to say to a small child. And in that, it is her importance which has increased. So she actually says, you go to the forest, pray to Bhagwan that may he give you a birth through my womb. So one has to please Bhagwan for what? To get into her womb. Look at that mind. And this Suruchi, when she says all this, the Uttanapaada does not have even the basic courtesy to stop her. He is so fascinated by her, he is so overwhelmed and mesmerized by her. he doesn't want to displease her, so he doesn't say anything. And the son there is standing, looking at the father. Father just moves away his head, he doesn't bother. The son feels so bad. Dhruva feels that my father does not even stand up for me, and this mother is saying like this. He is very badly hurt. Now, what is the symbolic understanding here? Dhruva means permanent, so permanent happiness. And permanent happiness comes through sadhana, through sanyam, etc. Whenever permanent happiness, sadhana, etc. come to us, what will happen? Our vasana will obstruct. Whenever the jiva is approached by any of these, the vasana of the jiva, Vishaya Vasanas and all that will obstruct and not allow the bhajananand, sadhananand to come. When we meditate, what happens? Mind wanders. We want to do Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and his mind has gone to Shiv Sagar restaurant and some food and some friends and some memory and something, it has gone. So the point is, Vishayananda will always create obstacles for Bhajanananda. What should be done then? Should we give up? No. So you see what happens now. So this Dhruva, he goes and he is crying, he is hurt. So he goes to his mother. Mother sees the small boy is crying, so she takes him in her lap. She tries to console him. She asks him, what happened? Why are you crying? He doesn't say anything. Because though he is 5 years old, he still has a lot of maturity. And he thinks that if I tell what happened, my mother will be pained more. Because what bad words they said about my mother, she is not even a queen, she is a dasi and all that. And then my mother will not like my father because he didn't do anything. So I will become the cause for the fight between my mother and father. No, this much he is thinking. So he keeps quiet, he doesn't say anything. One dasi comes and immediately she explains that this is what happened there. The mother is feeling very bad about it. This small boy, he was treated so badly. So when the mother comes to know all this, now you see the mind of Suniti, how it works. So she does not want Dhruva to have any negative thought in his mind. So she says, don't worry. Some karma you must have done in the past, which she is settling against you, Suruchi. So first she gives him logic. She says some karmic connection must be there, and you have done this. You have gone through this. Don't worry. Some karma is getting exhausted. Don't have any dvesha towards your stepmother. Point one. You think of it that Bhagwan has reduced some negative karma and some karma has got exhausted. Two, she says what she said is in fact true. That you should go to the forest only and pray to Bhagwan. Because this father, who is an earthly father, he is temporary and he does not love you as much as your divine father loves you. Your true father is Bhagwan Narayana himself. And he will be there through you. He has been there with you life after life. Even right now, he is always with you. Go and worship him, pray to him, and he will bless you with something which is more permanent. This is just a temporary lap of an earthly father. You worship the Supreme and get a permanent abode from the Divine Father. And his love for you is unconditional. He will never forsake you. This father may have forsaken for whatever reasons. Don't worry. But you worship him. See the mind of Suniti. Even from the harsh words of Suruchi, Suniti picks up something which is very good. And she does not harbor hatred in her heart. She does not think that how dare that Suruchi, who is younger to me, speak like this about me, and what does she know about me, and I will prove to her that who is more glorious. She didn't have any of this. That is how the good samskar is transferring on to Dhruva also. How much impact the mind of parents can make on the child. If the parent is secure, the child also can grow up to be secure. In fact, so many challenges that people face in their life as they grow up are all because in the first 5 years, what they have been subjected to, how they have faced life, what is the thing that they have gone through. Have they been loved? Have they felt secure? Have they felt good about themselves? Have they been encouraged positively? That makes a big difference. Here is a big adversity which has happened, but Suniti has turned it into a fantastic opportunity. She did not entertain hatred in her heart. She did not allow hatred to enter the heart of Dhruva also. Very, very important aspect here. And she says that this father of yours may not even want to look at your face. He turned his face. It's all right. He loves Suruchi more. Possibly he has his reasons. But your divine father, he will never do that. Go propitiate him. You see the strength from which she operates. She doesn't make the child cling to her, saying that if father is not loving, I have to double up as another parent also and give him the love of both father and mother. And he is for me, I am for him. We both are there for each other. Nobody is there for us. None of that senti drama she did. Not that she doesn't love him or he doesn't love her, but she said, you connect to the divine father, because that is the permanent connection that you have, and he always loves you. He never will forsake you. That is the mother who makes the child strong and independent, doesn't make the child more dependent and weak and victimize, make the child feel as though he's a victim and life has been unfair. You look at Kauravas, look at Dhritarashtra's parenting, and look at this Suniti's parenting. Everything that Duryodhan had also, still the Dhritarashtra is so insecure, and his insecurity comes on to his child. And he only becomes the cause of the death of his children. 100 children died because of his attachment to the children. He could have saved all of them. War need not have happened at all. Anyway, coming back to this. So, Suniti guides the child very beautifully. And you just look at her, step by step what she's doing. First she gave logic. Then she gave emotional comfort, saying, your father, divine father loves you very clearly, very deeply. She made him strong, not dependent on her. She showed him how to choose the positive even out of the most difficult situation. The words of Suruchi may be very harsh, but she told him what she said. Some of those things are true. That go to the forest and propitiate Bhagwan. She told to propitiate to get into her womb, but Suniti directs it, saying you seek the divine. Get something more permanent. Why are you bothered about this temporary lap of your earthly father? So she told him how to choose positive. She made him independent and detached, both, not clinging on her. Sixth point, she tells him that you have bowed down to me, which is very good. Because he bowed down to take Ashirwad and he wants to go, because mother said go, so he is ready to go. Now look at this, what she says. This is called aggressive goodness. She says, you go to Suruchi, bow down to her also and take her blessings also. Why? Because she does not want even a little bit of dvesha to be in the heart of Dhruva when he is thinking of Bhagwan. When one is thinking of Bhagwan, nothing else matters. all rag and dvesh put aside and drop dissolved. Whoever she may be, whatever she may be, Suniti says, you go take her blessing. Because after all, she sowed this thought in the mind that go to the forest. So you take the good part of it, go take her blessings, don't have any dvesha for her. And this boy is so obedient and he understands what the mother says. He goes, prostrates to Suruchi. Suruchi, for a moment, she doesn't know why this boy is prostrating. She says, why are you prostrating to me? And he says, because you, as you said, I am going to the forest to worship Bhagwan. For a moment, her heart melts, but she is not able to control her mind. Her swabhava is like that. And so what does she do? She says, okay, you go, because she thinks in her mind that it is good. If he goes, there will be nobody to stake the claim to the throne, and my son Uttam can happily become the king. So she is in that way very happy. So she says, you go. Now, this is what happens, Swabhava is very difficult to change, not very easy, and especially when the mind is extroverted, engaging in so many sense pleasures, etc., where the priority is only enjoyment, there it becomes more difficult to change, especially towards the sattva guna, towards the sattvic aspect. So, when Suruchi said this, he went. See, in this Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, this 19th verse is so beautiful that how did this Suniti direct the mind of Dhruva? It says, Aradhaya dhokshajapada padmam yadi chase dhyasanam uttamo yatha. If you want the supreme asan, you worship the feet of Adhokshaja, meaning Bhagwan Vishnu. And how should you worship? That also the mother says, Ananya bhave nija dharma bhavite manasya vasthapya bhajasva purusham. Ananya bhave, with single pointed devotion you worship Bhagwan. Don't think of anything else. For that Ananya bhav, she sent him there. That when he is worshipping, he should not have any feeling of anger, revenge, dvesha, aversion. That why this mother of mine behaved like this and I have to come into the forest? Nothing. Ananya bhave, nija dharma bhavite. One who has done one's duties, purified the mind. With Ananya bhav, one thinks of Bhagwan. Manasya vasthapya bhajasva purusham. And you establish Bhagwan in your heart, who is the supreme Purusha, and you worship. So she taught him how to worship Bhagwan also, without dvesha. She made sure that he understands this and goes, takes the blessings of the mother, and of course the father there, Uttanapaada. And look at Uttanapaada's mind. Even now he doesn't tell anything to Suruchi. Even now he doesn't stop Dhruva. He is so afraid of displeasing this Suruchi. In the Shastra it is said that a person who is so attached, one should not even see the face of such a person. And here it is a king. He is a great king, very powerful king, but in front of his wife is so weak, because attachment makes us like that. So he doesn't tell anything to Dhruva. Now Dhruva has done pranam, and Dhruva thinks that, oh mother, they are not treating you also well. They are not treating me also well. Why don't we go to the forest together? And the mother, she says, son, you are independent. I am not. I am married to your father. I have to serve him. I have duties to be done. But you are my child. You don't have such obligations at this age. You go. You see that mother, she sends the child alone to the forest. What confidence she has in herself and what Shraddha she has in Bhagwan. She tells him, Bhagwan will be there with you every step. Do not worry. You are not alone. The Lord, who is your divine father, is there every step with you and he will protect you. So you go. My blessings are with you. Bhagwan is with you. Don't worry. You will be protected. This is operating from strength. Today's parents, you see how many times we do the operating from strength. We become very weak many times. The child has to cry a little bit and then give whatever the child wants. And not that one should not give comforts to children, but some of the parents today, they pamper the children so much that they don't allow them to see the difficulties of life, to go through some challenges, to go through some difficult situations, to value what they have. It is important. And very interesting, if you see billionaires also, 85% of the billionaires in the world today are first generation billionaires. They have come up through the hard way. And many times history has shown that when they come up through the hard way, 1 or 2 generations after that, the whole thing dips again. Why? Because the people have not gone through, the next generations have not gone through those difficulties. So their resilience, their purushartha, and many of that is very less. Here is his mother who has sent this child alone and connected to the divine. Just think about it. How many parents will connect their children to the divine today? Unfortunately, so many Hindus and their parents and the parents who are Hindus, they take pride in saying, we don't want anything to do with religion, we don't want any rites, rituals, we don't want any puja, part. Our children should learn only spiritual knowledge, only the secular knowledge, and they should be scientific, logical, and we don't believe in all this. We are spiritual, not religious. So many times we have seen that happening in our own Chinmaya nursery, which is here, which is at Kemp's Corner, which is at Worli. We teach along with the skills what are required for whatever the subjects. We also teach the values, our culture, celebrate festivals, make them learn spiritual practices, all that. And so many parents have not admitted their children because one of the reasons is they don't want religion. That is so sad. Parents, many young parents or youngsters' parents also do that. If the youngster comes more and more to Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, they are scared. Arey, my child will become sannyasi. They don't allow the child to come. If the child goes to a, let us say a disco or goes and drinks in a bar, they are very happy saying, this is what a youngster should do. At this age, you should do this. Arey. And some deluded parents, I've said earlier also, they sit with the child and drink and they think that is great maturity. Maturity is this: connect the child to the divine. Make the child independent and strong. Let the child not feel victimized by life, however difficult circumstances may be. That is all maturity. This Suniti, he does that, she does that. Now Dhruva also asks that, how will I get Bhagwan? I am so small, I don't know anything. Will I be able to propitiate Bhagwan? So, beautifully, Suniti replies that Bhagwan does not want any sophistication. He wants only your bhav. You call him with sincere heart, with great devotion, he will come. You don't worry. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need big knowledge of the scriptures, Upanishads, nothing. What do you need? You just need devotion for Bhagwan. You love Bhagwan and you call him. He will come. And so she says this. Even in the Upanishads it is said that Yame Vaishya Vranate Tena Labhya. Kathopanishad says, whoever chooses me exclusively, to him I reveal myself. Tasyaisha Atma Vivranate Tanum Swam. Na ayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya. It is not attained by doing lot of pravachan. Na Medhaya, not by remembering lots of Vedic mantras. Na Bahuna Shrutena, not by listening to more and more. Then how is the Paramatma realized? Yame Vaishya Vranate. Whoever exclusively chooses Bhagwan. That's why she said Ananya Bhavena. I want Bhagwan alone. With that single pointed devotion, you seek Bhagwan. Bhagwan will manifest. So she trains, she teaches him this, and she gives him that confidence, gives him that clarity that you worship Bhagwan with this bhav. That bhav alone is important. Bas. One of the reasons why it is said that Srinathji is holding his hand up is because he says the jiva has got lost in samsara and he has forgotten me. And so I am calling, I am here, oh my child, come, come, come. So he is holding. So they say one hand is like this, one hand is like this, because in one hand he is having one child who is with him, and the other jiva who has gone away into samsara is calling him, come here. And what does Bhagwan want from the jiva? Nothing else except that you come back to him. He is waiting because he loves the jiva. Which parent wants the child to be far away? So he wants, and he waits for the jiva, life after life. It is only jiva who is not turning to him. So Bhagwan patiently waits, you come. So Dhruva is having that clarity, and he's told, you go. And now Dhruva, he follows the instructions of the mother. Now you think about his mind also. He doesn't think that, my father did not stand up for me, my stepmother ill-treated me, and now this mother of mine, Suniti, she is sending me away to the forest. What a terrible child I am, what a horrible life I have. Nobody loves me, nobody cares for me. What about my human rights? I should also have all rights I have for this kingdom, and I'm going to fight for it. Are socho. He doesn't think any of that. As somebody says, Swamiji, he is not capable of thinking so much. He is 5 years old boy only. That is our underestimation of children. Emotions are very powerful. And even children, they feel so much intensely actually. And if you reject and if you love, they will feel very clearly. So this child doesn't think any of this. Why? Because the mother's love is there. And mother has explained to him logic, explained to him the bhavana and how he should seek the divine, and assured him that Bhagwan will manifest. And the child's mind is more easily moldable, and the faith which she has, the security that she has, transfers onto the child also. Of course, his Purva Janma Karma and his sadhana, all that is also important, no doubt in that. So, this boy, he takes the Ashirvad of the mother and he goes. Now, when he goes there, on the way he's thinking, see, it's natural, no? Fear will arise because the jungle has all kinds of wild animals, terrible creatures are there. So the fear comes in the mind that, what if some wild animal comes? How will I live in the jungle? Who will protect me? And who will, small boy, he says, every day my mother used to put me to bed. In the lap of my mother, I used to sleep. She used to, move her hands on my head. She used to feed me. Now, who will do all that? I'm all alone. But the next minute, the thought that comes in his mind is that Bhagwan is there. My mother told me, and he is my divine father. He will take care. He will protect me. See, the faith is the antidote for fear. faith and knowledge. These are antidotes for fear. When I don't know something, it is not possible to know, then I should have faith. And if I know, if I can know, then what should I do? I should get that knowledge. That what is, suppose some place is dark or we don't know what is inside, then there may be fear. Put on the light and see. If I don't know about somebody, I'm very scared about that person, find out more about that person, get the knowledge, then to some extent fear will go. So here, he has knowledge that the mother has given and he has faith, both. He doesn't know what is going to come on the way, but he is walking, going into the forest. The mother could have kept him there, but the mother said, you go. Because when we go away from comfort zone, see, Suniti is that. Suniti or sadhana will make us go out of our comfort zone. Suruchi will make us go more and more into sense enjoyment and bind us in the name of being, comfortable, natural, basic comforts is all right. Sometimes the mind starts like that. And then one becomes a slave of comfort. Tapasya cannot happen like that. Tapas literally means breaking out of comfort zone. And going into the forest is because there will be no other distractions there of the family, of the relationships, of people, of vyavahar, of nothing. Exclusive time for Bhagwan. And it will test the faith also. Because there is fear. Every single minute, survival of the fittest is the rule there. We hear this story from childhood and we think, oh, Dhruva's life, he did tapasya and Bhagwan gave darshan, he chanted this particular mantra and he gave that. You imagine how he lived, 5-year-old boy in a forest, alone. And he's not a boy who has gone through tremendous hardships before. He has been brought up in the comforts of the palace. And now he is in the forest. So, Dhruvaji, he's 5-year-old boy, but what a great life and character he had. So now he went. As he is going, what happens? Naradji comes there. And he is so happy. He understands that he is some great saint who has come and his samskar of childhood is there. He prostrates to Naradji. Dandavat pranam. Sashtanga pranam he does. And Naradji lifts him up, makes him sit in his lap, strokes his hair. You think about it, what he wanted is to sit in the lap of the divine father, the earthly father. He got the company of Ananya Bhakta of Bhagwan, that is Naradji. See, Bhagwan's darshan is more easy. The darshan of an Ananya Bhakta is very durlabh. And you see, darshan of that Ananya Bhakta, he got first. Dhruvaji got that first. Naradji comes there. And such a great Bhakta, when he is moving the hand on the head, all doubts, confusions, fears, everything will go away from the head. So Naradji asks him, Naradji looks at him and says, you're a 5-year-old boy. What are you doing in this forest? So he says, whatever happened, he narrates everything. And Naradji appreciates that this is the blood of a Kshatriya in you, that you can't bear insult. And he says, divine mother, your mother is a very divine woman, that she sent you like this. But Naradji also wants to test him. See, when an adhikari is there, the guru has to come. The guru, we don't have to go in search of the guru. When the adhikari is there, the guru himself will come unasked also. Naradji came into life of Dhruva, straight, just like that. Because he had the feeling that I want to worship Bhagwan. Intensity is there. So, Naradji is a Sadguru there. Now he tests him before he gives him the Upadesh. So he says, you are so small. this is not your age. First of all, he says, this is not your age to worship Bhagwan. You should go to the palace, play, live in comforts. Forest is a very difficult place to live. You go there, go back. It's all right, don't worry. At some point in time, we feel very hurt and we feel sad when somebody tells us something, but in time, the effect of it reduces. So by the time you go back to the palace, you will forget also what she said and you will be happy. And when you grow, you can rule the kingdom and you live that way. When you become old, after you finish everything, then you seek Bhagwan. Naradji is telling this to Dhruva. So what does Dhruva say? That so before Dhruva says anything, Naradji gives a second argument. Naradji's argument is Yat prasadam savai pumsam duraradhyo mato mama. He says that it's very difficult to please Bhagwan Narayana. Rishis, Munis, they worship him for many, many lives together. Then they get darshan of his. Duraradhyo mato mama. It's very difficult to get his darshan. And you are still small. So I don't think this is appropriate for you. You go back. So when he said this, what does Dhruvaji reply? He says that the house in which I am insulted, I am not going to go back there. Point one. Point two, that I have decided that I am not having any interest and desire to sit not only in the lap of my father, I don't want even that throne. I don't want to rule. Naradji said, no, you rule and become old. And he said, I don't want to rule. I am only interested in worshipping Bhagwan and getting his darshan. Nothing else, no other interest I have. And so he says that, third point, he says, in this life only I will get his darshan. My mother has told me that if you worship with great bhavana, ananya bhav, you will get darshan. So I have no doubts. Maybe rishis, munis have taken long time, many lives, but I will get in this life only. And the fourth very beautiful point, he says, now I am much more assured that I will get darshan of Bhagwan. Why? Because I have just started on the path and I already found you. You are there. That means Bhagwan is already making arrangements to help me. So he will give me darshan. I have no worries at all. And Naradji is so pleased. He said, what a child and what a resolve he has. And what clarity, 5 years old boy. So he says all this. And he finally asks, you are my teacher, you please show me the way. So formally, he has surrendered to Naradji as a student. He said, you are my teacher, now you only show me the way. So beautifully, he says, Naradji tells him in this 41st shloka, Dharmartha kama mokshakhyam yait chet shreya atmanaha ekameva harestatra karanam pada sevanam. Whatever you want, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, anything that you want, the only one means for that is what? Ekameva, harest, ekameva karanam. One means of that alone is what? Worship the feet of Bhagwan Hari. Swamiji, don't we have to do any action for it? If I want wealth, if I keep sitting and doing Om Namo Narayana, how will I get wealth? I have to go out and act also, no? You can go out and act, but that ability to act came from Bhagwan only. The results of the action are given by Bhagwan only. The thought that I should earn wealth and the knowledge, etc., came from Bhagwan only. So if I remember Bhagwan and do everything, I will not only get artha, kama, dharma, moksha, I will purify the mind also. It will not create binding vasanas. I will be free from cycle of birth and death. So Naradji says the only means is you have to worship Hari which he knew already. So Naradji tells him, you go to Madhuvan. In Vrindavan, there's a forest, supposed to be a forest called Madhuvan, on the banks of Mother Yamuna. He says, you go to this Madhuvan, Tattatagacha bhadram te yamunayastatam shuchi punyam madhuvanam yatra sanidhyam nityada harehe. 42nd. Tata, you please go there, O son. Tata tata, tat tata, gacha bhadram. May auspiciousness be with you. You go to the Tat of Yamunaji. She is the purest. Yamuna, yes, Tatam Shuchi, the pure rivers of waters of Yamunaji. You go to the banks of Yamunaji. And in the beautiful place, Punya Madhuvanam Yatra, there's a beautiful forest, Madhuvanam. And why he tells him to go there? Because Bhagwan stays there always. He says, Sanidhyam Nityada Harehe. See, some places are there where it is said Bhagwan stays ever there. Dwarka, Srirangam, this Madhuvan, like that. Different places are there which are abode of Bhagwan continuously, like Badrinath, all these places, Bhagwan stays there, Nitya Dham. So, he says that you go. Vrindavan is the sacred place where Bhagwan himself has, done so many leelas. So, it's called Prem Bhumi. And Mother Yamuna, she will shower her grace. So beautifully it is said that Yamuna is Kripa Devi and Madhuvan is the Divya Bhumi, which is Prema Bhumi. Now he says, okay, I will. He says not only that you should go there, but he tells him also what to do there. He says, first, you should do Manasi Seva, meaning you meditate on the form of Bhagwan in your mind. Manasa Puja he teaches. See, sannyasi, sadhus, recluse, or somebody who has left everything and gone exclusively to serve can start with Manas Puja. Somebody who is engaged in action, still doing the duties, they have to do both physical puja and Manas Puja. That's what the Shastra says. Here Dhruva has left everything and gone exclusive. So he says you do Manasa Puja because Manas Puja is more subtler and more powerful. Everything is done in the mind. So he says you worship Bhagwan. In the mind you invoke his beautiful form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and you do the offering of flowers, you offer the Chandan, Kumkum, flowers, Vanamala, garland, Agarbatti, do the entire puja. Dhupa, Deepa, Naivedya, everything you do, first you do in the mind. And don't allow the mind to go anywhere else. With complete devotion, focus on Bhagwan. And then what you should do? Do the japa. What japa? So he gives the beautiful mantra, Dwadashakshari mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dwadashakshari mantra. Number 12 has great significance in Bhakti Shastra. The mantra is Dwadashakshari mantra. Then we have 12 Adityas who are sons of Aditi. Vaman Bhagwan was born in that. Then 12 is Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. 12 is actually called Harivasar. It is the day of Bhagwan Vishnu. Ekadashi today is done in honor of Bhagwan. Tomorrow, Upvas is done today so that we can remember Bhagwan tomorrow with full intensity and single pointedness. 5 senses of knowledge, 5 senses of action and the mind. All of them are prepared today by doing fast, by doing japa, by not eating the regular food and when we eat fruits, then sattva guna will increase. When we eat cooked food, then rajoguna will increase. So either nirjal or with only water or with only fruits or with only ekabhukta. One time you eat. If one can't do any of that, then one time you eat. All this is so that the mind learns to withdraw, and especially this tongue. If this tongue is controlled, everything will be controlled. So Bhagwan Upasana, Bhagwan's Aradhana, to do that, we should learn to train the senses, withdraw the mind. So on 10th evening, the Ekadashi Vrat will start. It will go up to 12th morning. I'm talking about Tithis. Dashami, it will start. Then Ekadashi, we will do the whole Upvas. And Dwadashi in the morning, worship Bhagwan and then break the fast. Ekadashi happens, Ekadashi Vrat is for 3 days. So he teaches that you do this. So number 12, I was saying that number 12 is very important for Bhakti Shastra, and that 12 number, the Tithi Dwadashi also is Harivasar. So now this Dwadashakshari mantra he gives. So he taught him you should do Manasa Puja, and then you should do Japa of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and you should do Dhyan of Bhagwan. Puja, Japa and Dhyan. Beautiful. How the Lord through Naradji gave this beautiful Upadesh to Dhruva. You see, this is the beauty in our culture, that it is not that children are written off. अरे ये तो बच्चा है, ये क्या करेगा, बड़े बड़े महात्मा नहीं कर पाए, ये छोटा बच्चा क्या करेगा? No, because the child is small, he can do, and the mind is pure. And highest knowledge is given to him. Sadhanas are told to him. So he got this knowledge. And what happens in the 9th chapter of this 4th canto, he says that Masairaham shadbhiramushya padayoho chaya mupetyapagata prithang matihi. In 6 months, he says, Dhruvaji says, I will get the darshan of Bhagwan. That is the intensity he has. See, the life of Dhruvaji, if you see, and he gets in 6 months. He does tapasya, as Naradji tells him. But the point is, it is not suddenly that this has happened. Naradji gave him all these instructions, and he was able to follow. He also did a lot of tapasya because he has Purva Janma Samskars. We will come to that. In fact, he is born in this family of this king because actually he was a sadhak in the earlier life who was intensely meditating. And there in the forest, he saw a king and a queen engaging in some sense pleasures. And the thought came into his mind that, what kind of enjoyment they are having. I have never had this type of an enjoyment in my life. Now, a mind which was so subtle, single-pointed, pure, doing sadhana, in that mind, even if this thought comes, it has so much power, then the Dhruvaji has to be born again. Now, he is born in this family, in this kingdom now. So, that's why as one does sadhana, one has to be more and more alert. As the mind becomes purified, what one entertains. See, earlier when the mind is not pure, a passing thought goes by, it doesn't have much power because the mind is dissipated. But when the mind is intensely focused, concentrated, even one thought just comes by, it will get tremendous power. This is not to become scared or anything, but the idea is to be alert. So Dhruvaji was born in this house of this king. And you will see later on afterwards, he also rules the kingdom, but he has already got Sakshatkar of Bhagwan. So the whole vision is different after that. But some karma has to get exhausted, so he is born here. Now, Naradji gave all this advice and he went to Uttanapaada Raja. Because he has to take care of Uttanapaada also. Uttanapaada, now he is sitting and regretting, what happened? My child was so good, and this small child of mine, I sent him. He went away to forest. I could not even stop him. What kind of a weakling I became, and he was repenting like anything. Naradji went to him, consoled him, told him what has happened. explained to him that he has given this knowledge and initiation to Dhruva. And he told him that now you also have to do prayaschitta. So it is said that you should live only on milk for 6 months. Dhruva is doing tapasya there for 6 months. He has to do that tapasya here. He said, you 6 months, you live only on milk. Control your tongue, get your mind in order, do sadhana. So Naradji took care of his father also. Now what happened? Dhruva sat down, he went to Madhuvan as he was told. And you see how he begins the sadhana, slow and steady. So he starts with fasting, and for 3 days he sits without moving, remembering Bhagwan, and eats only fruits after that. Then this he does for 1 month, that he will eat fruits and then he will sit for 3 days, remember Bhagwan, not get up. Again he will eat fruits. This 1 month he continued. Then second month what he did, he started sitting for 6 days. Third month he started sitting for 9 days. And in the third month what he did, he left even the falahar. He was eating only some leaves. Then fourth month, what happened? Slowly, he left even the leaves. Fourth month is drinking only water. And now he is sitting for 12 days. Then fifth month, he is sitting quietly for 15 days continuously and dropped even water and only lives on air. And then comes the sixth month, where he decides, I am not moving from here till Bhagwan gives me darshan. And so he lost himself completely in the worship of Bhagwan. Now, what happened? This boy, small boy, is doing such tapasya. All devatas tell Bhagwan that please give him darshan. You know what Bhagwan says? Such a beautiful line. He says, Madhorvanam martya didikshaya gataha. He says, I don't have to give him darshan. I am going to get his darshan. This is Ananya Bhakta, Dhruvaji. His life is so fantastic. So he goes, Bhagwan goes there. Bhagwan is manifest in front of Dhruvaji, but Dhruvaji is not opening his eyes. Why? Because he is so absorbed, and in his mind, the form of Bhagwan is so clear and resplendent in the mind. Now Bhagwan says, now enough, now I am standing right in front of him and he is enjoying my form in his mind. So Bhagwan disappears from his mind. When Bhagwan disappears from his mind, Dhruvaji suddenly gets disturbed and he opens his eyes. And he sees, oh, that Supreme Lord is standing in front of him. And he is speechless. He can't speak anything. Words are not coming. His throat is choked. His eyes have tears. Bhagwan is standing, has given darshan to him. He wants to say something, but he is not able to say. He is spellbound. So what does Bhagwan do? He touches the shankha to the cheeks of Dhruva. And what a beautiful shloka. Dhruvaji starts praising Bhagwan. The whole Dhruva Stuti comes there in this 9th chapter. 6th shloka is most famous, beautiful one. Yonta pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shaktidhara swadhamna anyansha hasta charana shravanatvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Yo anta pravishya, one who has entered into me, and mama vacham imam prasuptam, who enlivens my speech, sanjeevayati akhila shaktidhara, the one who is the repository of all powers, that Supreme Lord enlivens my prana also, enlivens all the other parts of the body, including hands, legs, the senses, to that Supreme Lord who is in me in the form of prana, who is none other than Supreme Purusha. He says, Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam. Salutations to you, O Lord. So now, this is how Dhruvaji got the darshan of Bhagwan. And he says that those who don't worship the Lord like you, they are Kritagna. Bhagwan does everything for us and we don't even remember Bhagwan. And Bhagwan is pleased with him. Bhagwan grants him the Dhruva and he tells him, you return and you will get to rule the kingdom also. And your father will love you back, love you when you go back, he will accept you. Meanwhile, what has happened? This lady who has told Suruchi, told that he should be born through her womb, and he told him to go to forest. She actually got burnt in a forest, and her son also Uttam died very soon, unfortunately. So he returns, Dhruvaji returns after this darshan of Bhagwan, and the father is ready to accept him. The whole procession and everything happens there. They put him on an elephant and they take him, and what a glorious welcome he also got. So he wanted only the the lap of his father for some time, but his mother channelized him. He got the darshan of Bhagwan also, and he came back, and he anyway got the kingdom which he didn't want for himself by itself. He had decided, I don't want it, but as a duty he comes back, does his work. Uttanapaada leaves and goes, renounces, and makes Dhruva as the king. All that happens. Now, before I end, one point to understand here is the Mahatmas, they complain to Bhagwan that, oh Bhagwan, for lives after lives we have been worshipping you and you are not giving darshan to us. And this Dhruva, small boy, 5-year-old boy, 6 months may you gave him darshan. This is very unfair. So they said, we are going to stop your worship because you are being partial. You didn't stick to your word that you are impartial. What is the point of worshipping you? So they said they stopped worshipping Bhagwan. You see, Bhakta and Bhagwan have this tussle going on between them. There is a bhav that they have towards each other. Bhagwan is not some abstract entity somewhere. For the Bhakta, Bhagwan is very real. So the Bhakta is having fight. This sadhus, sannyasi, they are saying, lives we have spent now, you are not giving darshan to us, you gave him. So we are not going to worship you now. So few days pass. Then one day they want to go to Sagar, to the shores of the ocean. And so they go there and they find there is one boat and the boatman is there. So they sit with him in the boat. And as the boatman takes the boat through the ocean, suddenly they see huge mountains are there, which are white color mountains. So they wonder, what is this? What type of mountain? These are very weird mountains. We have never seen such white color mountains before. So they ask the boatman, saying that, what kind of mountains are these and which place have you brought us? So the boatman says, these are mountains. If you go close and look, you will see what they are. So he takes the boat close. And what they find, these mountains are made from bones, human bones. So they wonder, saying, oh my God, these are all human bones. What is this? And there are some, 15, 20, 30 mountains like that. So that boatman says, these are all the bones of the human lives that Dhruva had taken before he became Dhruva. And suddenly these sadhus, they realize, the one who has come as a boatman is Bhagwan himself, to guide them, to make them understand that Bhagwan never goes back on his promise. He is equal to all the beings. And if one finds that suddenly in one life somebody got some Vishesh Kripa, of course Kripa of Bhagwan is the only method to realize him. But our sadhana invokes that Kripa. And Dhruvaji has done so many lives of sadhana. Then in this life he got this in 6 months. So this is a beautiful story of Dhruvaji and the great mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So for today I will stop here. Thank you everyone. Bhagwan's grace, we could reflect on his great stories, remember him his glorious nature. And in this Adhik Maas, we could think about Purushottam Bhagwan, Vasudeva himself. We started with Om Namo Narayanaya, and we are ending with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we express all our gratitude to Bhagwan, to Puja Gurudev, and offer this sadhana at their feet. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi adyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami. Narayanayeti samarpayami. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Om Tat Sat Chinmayarpanamastu. Thank you everyone, and Mahima Zone specifically for taking this wonderful initiative and for giving this opportunity to do this beautiful sadhana. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Om Purnamada. You want to do any announcements?
Neha? Neha, are you there? I think she's muted herself, Swamiji.
Yeah. All right. No problem. You can do the Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.